All right, Wack 100 found himself once again caught in a crossfire, this time between Fat Joe, Big Pun's wife, and some comments about Big Pun, Fat Joe, and the business relationship between them. Now, Wack 100 he was on Clubhouse when he said some things about him working with Liza Rios, who was the widow of Big Pun. Now, if you know, here on Hip Hop News Uncensored, one of the many interviews that we did, we interviewed Liza and her attorney, so we got first-hand knowledge of the situation. I'm going to give you a clip from that interview, but first, let's hear what Wack 100 said, and then we'll get to the getting to. Hey, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. It's Hip Hop News Uncensored, and we giving it to you like nobody else. Rotate.
Looked out for New York and got the Big Pun deal done. With New York was blocking that lady. Y'all had her homeless and up. Nobody had no more.
Oh, hold on. You talking about his baby mother?
Oh, my mom, I just did her deal.
Yeah. Damn, you don't go over a lot of people. A lot of people gonna be upset.
I just did Elijah's deal. It's locked and cocked. It's done.
Man, you better. You said you cool with
Fat Joe been blocking everybody.
You said you cool with Pistol Pete from Terror Squad.
I'm cool with Pistol Pete and Joe. I call Joe right now. Yeah, you know
they don't with them people. That's what I'm saying.
It don't matter. That's that man's wife and his children, bro. That's that man's story. Stop blocking them and let them people. The people was homeless. What kind of niggas you is? That man is dead, bro. You robbed him for $4 million already. I seen the works. $4 million you never gave his wife and kids none of his 30% cut. 1.2 million should have went to his wife and kids. They was homeless in a homeless shelter. When you New York niggas gonna stand for what's right.
I think a lot of people don't know the details of that shit.
Now, immediately after this morning, actually, Wack 100 backtracked. Now, before I get to Wack 100 retracting his statement, let's get to an interview that we did with Miss Rosario, the attorney for Liza Rios, that we did last year. And she talks about the Fat Joe Big Pun dispute in its entirety and gives you the truth. Rotate.
So how do you guys come to the conclusion that Fat Joe or Jelly Bean Jams owes Big Pun any royalties, any money? How do you come to that conclusion?
Well, we came to that conclusion mostly on the publishing side. So Still Not a Player or Don't Want to Be a Player is just one of the songs. So there's a catalog of, over 200 songs that were subject to that deal between Joe and Jelly Bean. And when Pun died, technically he was due in advance for the album that was coming out for the publishing deal, and they never paid that money over to Liza. We did an audit as well in the context of the lawsuit to try to determine, the money that was out there, and the audit determined that there was over $2 million in royalties that was unpaid.
So that was a excerpt from an interview we did last year with Big Pun's widow and her attorney. You heard what she said there. Now, let's listen, because Wack 100 must have got the call or something, and he pretty much changed his tune after the wake up. Let's listen.
Yo, listen, a lot going on about this Big Pun situation. Wack standing up to Fat Joe. I've never had a conversation with Fat Joe about Big Pun and business of Big Pun or nothing like that. Last time I seen Fat Joe, we was at Prime 112, 25 deep, and he covered the whole bill. That's Game's friend. He been my friend. Shout out to Cool and Drake. So whatever was going on prior to, I wasn't privy to that knowledge. What I do know is Big Pun's wife came to see me, Liza, told me she was looking for a situation that would be healthy for her. Big Pun, I feel like it's part of the culture. Like, it's Big Pun. His story needs to be told. You know what I mean? So what I did do was line up a situation that was healthy for her, something that would happen. I reached out to my people, my team. They pushed the button and they greenlit the project. So there's definitely a Big Pun series coming. I just want to kill the narrative like it was some type of issue with Wack and Big Pun, and Wack and Fat Joe behind Big Pun. Fat Joe ain't never mentioned to me he got an issue with Pun or issue with nobody. And as far as I'm concerned, he want to see Pun win and his family win. The Fat Joe I know. So let's kill that narrative. Fat Joe's a friend of mine. Shit, he might be out here. Fat Joe wrote a lot. Fat Joe, he might be on motherfucking Rolling Loud. I'll run into him out here somewhere. But nevertheless, long story short, just killed the narrative that Wack stood up to Fat Joe. Shout out to Fat Joe, the whole KAR family, my nigga over there. You know, they know who I'm talking to. You know what I mean? It ain't that type of situation. Y'all kill that bullshit. West up. Big Pun series coming soon.
Nah, dog. I'm not letting you off the hook that easy, Wack. Come on, man. You know exactly what the situation was. Like, did you just hear what the stuff that this man said? He knew exactly what the situation was. In my opinion, he either got a call or, Game. He said Game probably hit him up and was like, yo, that's the homie, blase, blase. It's no way in one night you can go from saying all this stuff, right, to the next morning saying, look, I don't know what happened. All I know is I'm working with his wife. Nah, you know what happened. And all you got to do is tune into our interviews. We did an interview with Liza, Gangu Roach, who was a man that was actually brought in to look at the paperwork he found missing money. I could play that interview. It's numerous other people that have done, reports and stories on this particular thing. And I even got the contract. Like, Gangu sent me the contract a couple of years ago, whenever that was we interviewed him. And I read through the contract. So I guess this kind of is what it is, with this whole situation, man. But, see, in this industry, it's like high school. So, the popular people, you don't want to step on the popular people's toes out of fear of being ostracized. I'm not saying Wack is doing that, but come on, man, you said it. You got to stand on it. Unless you got some information, which he never alluded to, where Fat Joe can show, okay, nah, this is what I paid, boom, 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 the paperwork, boom, 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 who knows? But come on, man. Come on, man. That's wild, wild stuff. And, he going to be dealing with Liza, and I'm sure she's going to fill him in, to more things that's going on. And, it's this industry, man. I'm telling you, man, this industry is wild. It'll make you fall out of love with it. It'll make you, that's why, the most important thing is to keep your business right and keep your circle tight. Yes, you heard it here first. Keep your business right and your circle tight, because they're going to try everything and anything to rip you off, steal from you, take from you, cut your throat and leave you out to dry in this industry. Like, you hear about people getting their songs stolen, their beats stolen. It's the same thing that happens in the podcast / YouTube thing. Like, nothing's going to be original, because as soon as you create it originally, somebody's going to steal it and put it on them as if it's theirs. You know what I mean? And don't give you any credit for it. But nevertheless, it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, the situation, we did our interview. We asked the pertinent questions about the situation. We have yet to interview Fat Joe. Would love to do that. One day we interviewed everybody else around him. Except for him, we interviewed Liza, we interviewed Pun's son, we interviewed Cuban Link, Tony Sunshine, Gangu Roach, we interviewed Pistol Pete. Who else did we interview? Charlie Rock LD. So everybody that's, rub elbows with Fat Joe, we've talked to him. And we haven't talked to Fat Joe yet. And if we had an opportunity to talk to Fat Joe, definitely would ask him that question. Definitely would ask him, what the deal? Did you give Liza the money? Boom, boom. Because the story was, Fat Joe tells the stories like he gave her the money, she blew the bread. That's how Fat Joe says it. But hey, I'm not gonna get too much deeper into all of that stuff. You know what I mean? You guys go back and look at the old interviews we got. We're one of the top. If you go to Google and type in Liza Rios Big Pun, you're gonna see our interviews. Our thumbnails pop up because we did, extensive articles and videos on this subject matter already. It's your brother Oga, man. Hip Hop Uncensored. Hey, the website is hiphopun.com. That's where you can find all these great articles written by our excellent team of writers. And yeah, that's how I feel about the situation, man. Peace.